En este momento inicia su programa Los Vientos del Saber con Carmen Piñeyro. Abordaremos temas de política, inmigración, finanzas, educación y muchos temas de interés para la comunidad. Puedes participar en vivo llamando al 1-888-900-2811 extensión 6. ¡Comenzamos!
Alianza por Freeport. Hagamos historia eligiendo a Carmen Piñeyro como la primera alcaldesa de la villa de Freeport. El próximo martes 16 de marzo es tu oportunidad para hacer historia. Elijamos a Carmen Piñeyro y su Alianza por Freeport. Para más información, visite nuestro website allianceforfreeport.com o al teléfono 516-690-6815. Carmen Piñeyro, la futura alcaldesa de Freeport.
Move forward with the agenda for today.
Request approval of the Board of Trustees minutes from December 14th, 2020.
Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
On the motion, Mayor Kennedy, Board of Trustees, in reference, there's a section here about the promotion and publicity of the village of Freeport. To that end, I want to bring to the attention of the board and to you, Mayor, that for the last 5 months, village sponsor events, village website, the likes of myself have been edited, cut out, and I'm bringing to the attention of the board that it just happened that 8.5 years ago. We were going through the same dilemma under Mayor Hardwick. As a matter of fact, on June 4th, 2012, we ended up passing Resolution 1844. Resolution 1844, at that same meeting, Judge Winslow ordered Mayor Hardwick to appoint a deputy mayor and ended up appointing Deputy Mayor Ortiz. So I just want to read what the resolution of 1844 that this board, yourself, Trustee Martinez, who were members of the board at that time, passed. Deputy Mayor Ellerby and Trustee Spurry were not members of the board at that time. And it's very competitive. One of the things that I'm very consistent about is transparency, about making sure that the members of this community see and receive the right information. I'll give some example. The tree lighting, the toy drive, the fire department, we were all there. I did a Facebook live stream. When I go through the village Facebook page, go through it, not one picture that was taken with the entire board is there. As a matter of fact, a mention of members of the board who were there was written, and I was strictly excluded from being mentioned. I think that is very disrespectful. It looks like my dissent is being, of my opinion, trying to be silenced. So the resolution of 1844, it was moved by myself and seconded by yourself, Mayor Kennedy, in June 4th, 2012. Whereas the Incorporated Village of Freeport, through its franchise agreement with Cablevision and Verizon, has the ability to produce and televise programs of interest to the residents of the Village of Freeport. These can include, but are not limited to, televised village board meetings, community events, and celebrations within the village and public service announcement. The franchise agreement allows the village to receive a set fee that may cover the cost of producing the televised such programs. Whereas the residents of the Freeport may have less and less free time and resources to get involved in their local government. Village board meetings that affect people's quality of life must immediately are no longer as accessible as they once were. Government access television provides a solution to this problem, making local government more approachable, available provided a set of procedures and guidelines to ensure that the fair broadcast standards are met concerning the use of public funds for programming produced by the village and aired on the public access channels. We intend to provide a clear and concise set of rules to which the village and its administration must follow. Once adopted, these rules can only be adjusted or changed by majority vote of the Board of Trustees. Therefore, be it resolved, the trustee promulgated these rules and procedures. For Channel 1844, all board meetings and comments from the public should be recorded and cablecast in their entirety without prejudice and without regard to the length or subject matter. There should be no editing of any kind unless the subject matter is deemed offensive, obscene, a threat to public safety or to the safety of village officials and of village employees, or in violation of law. During the cablecast of any edited portion of the meeting, there should be a statement prominently explained at the bottom of the message stating why the section has been edited. The public comment portion of the meeting will include any cablecast and also should be available on the village website. Planning board, zoning board meetings. It should be the policy of the village that all public portions of the meetings of the planning and zoning board be cablecast in their entirety regardless of length or subject matter and without editing of any kind. Village-related events. Recording of village events such as the Heritage Night, Naval, Mission, and Business, or the Memorial Day Parade must be cablecast in a manner that is reflective of that event, while adhering to a reasonable time schedule and may be edited for such purposes. However, no appearance, comments, or presentation by village officials, nor the recognition or introductions of any elected officials may be edited or deleted from the cablecast of the event. Community-related events. Events such as the Local Mine Festival, Chamber of Commerce, Fire Department, or PBA installation dinners or events should be cablecast in a manner reflective of the events while adhering to a reasonable time schedule and may be edited for such purposes. However, no appearance, comments, and presentation by village officials, nor the recognition or introduction of any elected officials may be edited or deleted from the cablecast of the event. No community-related event should be recorded unless a resolution first and foremost be adopted by the village board, designating it as an official event. Community service programs. All programs produced by the village of Freeport for public information or education will be hosted or presented by an elected official or department head. All members of the village board should have equal opportunity to appear on the program. No community service program should be recorded unless the resolution first and foremost be adopted by the village board, designating the event as an official event. And this one is very important. Public service announcement, PSA. All PSA must be presented by a village official or an authorized department. It is also imperative that such announcement be bilingual in English and Spanish. Recordings. In an effort to reduce costs, any cameras or recording devices used to record any meeting of the village board of trustees, planning board, or board of appeals should be directed only at the members of the respective board during the recording of the meeting, except that the camera devices may be directed in such manner as to record any citizen recognized to address the board meeting. The presentation by any person addressing the board public hearing also may be recorded. In order to minimize the need of additional equipment to permit recording of the aforementioned activities, recordings of meetings should not include use of the general public and should not handle photos. All equipment used in conjunction with village recording, production, and presentations should be the ownership of the village of Freeport. Service contracts. All service contracts related to the recording, editing, or production of any program or meeting must be approved by the village board of trustees. Failure to comply with any rule, policy, or requirement, or any board resolution should be grounds for termination of the contract. The government access television is a type of specialty cable television channel dedicated to government entities, generally local government, and cable casts over one or more cable programs. In some cases, over-the-air broadcast television, GATV programming should be limited to public affairs, board meetings, or governmental bodies. Explanation of information about government services and other public service-related programming, such as public service announcement and public information and referral. Be it further resolved that these rules and procedures should be effective immediately, and it is further resolved that the current listing of all program, cablecast, or televised programming of such meetings and minutes should be submitted to the Board of Trustees for review and approval, and no such events or meetings should be cablecast or televised, except as to whom and in accordance with these rules and procedures. The reason why I bring this up, Mayor, is because back in October, I have spoken to you. You know that I had been working for many years on the census 2020. Trustee Martinez and myself, your direction, and though you were going to participate, via PSA recording in English and in Spanish, because there were sections of the Incorporated Village of Freeport which had not returned the completion of their census. As we all know, if we're undercounted, it hurts the municipality. It doesn't matter who becomes mayor March 16 of 2021. If we don't have the fundings because this board or because certain issues happen and we're not getting the appropriate number of residents to return the information back to the census, this community hurts because it's funding that the same way that happened in 2010, now this municipality may not receive. I followed up with the IT department, the recording was done and it was presented to yourself for approval, and it never made it to any of the 1844 or any of our social media platforms, thus leading me to use social media on my own to make sure that our residents got the information that was there. And fast forward, same thing as I mentioned before, I'm not going to repeat it. I think it's very important that as members of this community, we continue with transparency. And in addition to that, the governor had issued an executive orders that needs to be televised simultaneously live as we meet here. I know we're here, and I know that the meeting gets podcast on 1844. But a review of our village website shows that the last meeting that is on record on the website is of December 12, 2019. I think that it's imperative that all the meetings from January of this year all the way to now be uploaded into the website so residents that have not had a chance to participate or see what was in those meetings are able to see it. And that this board addressed the issue of maybe streaming this meeting live, because as we see, there's not that much participation. But there's a big need because we're still in the middle of a pandemic of COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. I just want to remind everybody, though, item number 1 on this agenda is to approve the minutes of the meeting, not to go on a 20-minute tirade about everything that is a problem in this village. So I appreciate if we restrict ourselves to voting on these specific items. And I'll just want to say a little further that the program in this village and everything on display is in accordance with the rules and regulations of the village for 1844, the web and Facebook. No editing has occurred unless it was illegally placed on there, which some items were that the trustee had brought to attention with regards to different issues that the village attorney said it cannot be posted. So again, I would ask if you have a problem with that, put it right, give it to the village attorney, and he'll respond like he did last time to tell you it was not proper, it was not legal, it's something you should not be putting online. As far as I'm finishing up speaking, please. Please submit in writing anything you have, I'll be glad to take a look at it and give it to the attorneys to review. Now, we're discussing this. This is not something, we're not bringing this up right. Madam Clerk, please order. Point of order.
It's no point of order, Ron.
No, this isn't something to debate
No,
about.
it's not. We don't have to debate.
Yes, we are. Madam Clerk, please read item number 2.
We have a deputy.
Read item number 2. We're out of
We have
order.
our secretary. We haven't even voted on it.
You are out of order.
We are not out of order. Again, you're trying to silence me because I asked a question. There's a deputy village attorney is here. Why can't he answer?
I was involved in the communication back.
And in addition to that, Mayor, the village attorney, they represent all members of the board, not only yourself.
Village attorney told you what you did was incorrect and improper.
What he did not tell me anything that I
He
did
did. I'm
correct.
not going to say no to you.
Absolutely not.
Madam Clerk, go to
Correct.
item number 2. Or if not, take a vote on item number 1. We have to vote. Whatever.
Okay, all in favor of agenda number
Move forward, please.
Request retroactive approval to apply court-ordered small claims assessment reviews reduction to various properties to the 2020-2021 amended final assessment roll and 2021-2022 tentative assessment roll, and for the village treasurer to issue the appropriate refunds.
So moved. Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request retroactive approval to remove exemptions from the 2021-2022 tentative assessment roll for various properties.
So moved. Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request to extend the 2019 lot clearance debris removal with Jamin Industries, Inc., 45 Nevinwood Place, Huntington Station, New York, 11746, from March 1st, 2021 through February 28th, 2022, in the amount of $66,925.
So moved. Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
Well, we have a question from Mr. Smalls.
Okay.
The timer is not working, so.
Okay. Thank you. So I guess that's his favor for me. Merry Christmas, brother. Happy birthday.
Our time was fine.
Happy Christmas and have a good everybody. 2021 is going to be a good year for us. But just a quick question. I just want to know, I don't know what that means. The 2000 lot clearance debris removal, like, what are we talking about? Lot clearance could be, for example, a car or a shed or a piece of structural material. Garbage would have to be removed. The lot clearance organic would be if they have a grass that has to be cut, snow that has to be removed. I don't know if snow goes into that, but it's grass cuttings and weeds.
So if a complaint comes into the building department and a neighbor didn't cut his grass or something, that's on the organic, but or there's an unsightly effect, we have a complaint. And we give notice to the resident that they have to address this item. They don't address it in enough time. We then go do that. We have hired these guys to go do that. And then we put that bill on their tax rolls of that resident that failed to comply.
Also applied for, I'm sorry.
This is back when we do this for many years. Several years ago, the administration put this in to allow a lot of our neighbors to where to do the right thing. And it's a trust security, everything from grass being cut, garbage being cars are back. All the program worked extremely well. And I can tell you the trustee, the number of phone calls I get, during complaints is significantly dropped versus this program.
Okay.
And that's also to address also the vacant lot homes.
I was about to say, zombie.
Yes.
Now, if it's a big old zombie home, are we building?
Yes.
And they reimburse us?
Yes.
Answer that question. That's also question B2, so it's the same thing. So,
Yes.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request to extend the 2019 lot clearance organic with Jamin Industries, Inc., 45 Nevinwood Place, Huntington Station, New York, 11746, from March 1st, 2021 through February 28th, 2022, in the amount of $98,853.
So,
Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request approval of the software maintenance contract with S3 Inc., 380 New York Street, Redlands, California, 92373 from March 1st, 2021 through February 28th, 2022, in the amount of $9,300. So moved.
Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request approval of the software update license and support service for Oracle America Inc., P.O. Box 203-448, Dallas, Texas. 75320, a sole source provider, in the amount of $10,285.60 from March 1st, 2021 through February 28th, 2022.
Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request authorization to purchase Motorola radios for a not to exceed amount of $180,000, $150,000 reimbursed through the Nassau County Community Revitalization Program grant, and $30,000 from the New York State and Municipal Facilities Program grant.
So moved. Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
I have a question from Mrs. Stevens.
With that program, the CRP money, is that coming from our legislators out of their account, or where is that CRP money coming from? From which county agencies?
It's Nassau County who's giving us the money, whether it's legislators, I don't know. Rob, can you give us the specific location?
I don't know if it was through a specific account that they had. It was proposed by all three legislators.
Because they do have a CRP account, and I was just wondering, because we have two legislators here in our district.
It's three.
And they give you,
It's three.
Thank you for correcting.
This was something that was proposed by all three legislators.
Okay. And thank you. And just one quick comment. Trustee Elevate, thank you for pulling up your mask over your nose, because he wasn't covering your nose. So thank you for that.
Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request authorization to purchase thermal imaging cameras from Firematic Supply Inc., 10 Ramsey Road, Shirley, New York, 11967, for a not to exceed amount of $48,000, pending reimbursement through the New York State Municipal Facilities Program grant.
So moved. Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request retroactive approval of the Stop EWI program between the Village of Freeport and the County of Nassau effective January 1st, 2021 through February 1st, 2025 in the amount of $55,000.
Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
You have a question for Mrs. Small?
Thank you. What is that program, and what does it consist of? How does it work?
It is a grant of $55,000, obviously, to have police focus on DWI issues throughout the village. Our village attorney, can you give us some more information on that?
Yeah, it's like the mayor said, it's a grant that pays for folks at DWI helping within. It's within the village, but it's a cooperation between the village police and the Nassau County Police.
How is it implemented? Like, how do they do it? Where are they stationed? Are they stopping on just Main Street, or are they stopping on the highway, or in the residential areas? Like, how does the program work?
I would have to ask the chief of police to ask specifically where. I guess it would be depending upon the time of year, the season, and traditional checkpoints that they have. But I'll ask them and have to get back to you.
I'm just curious, like, are they outside, a mile waiting for people there, or is that one thing they're focusing on? Because we have cameras all over the village, so I'm just kind of wondering, how they just implement this program.
Well, the cameras that we have nothing to do with DWI, and they couldn't tell if it was a DWI. They're license plate readers. It only reads the license. It won't tell you if somebody's DWI.
Well, if they're driving sporadically,
it won't tell you. It won't tell you if it's something. It wouldn't tell you if they were doing cocaine and 3 bottles of champagne. It can only tell you what the license plate reader says. The license plate itself.
But it would also indicate if someone crosses the double line, there's no way that you guys might ignore them.
There's no way that the license plate readers could tell you that.
We don't have someone watching.
Who's watching the film?
It's not a film. It bings, the system bings every time like we come across a license plate that's either expired or registration, lack of insurance, or if there's a warrant out for that person's arrest. It'll bing in the station out over to the local police car, and then they go there. So it's not like we have someone downstairs watching the cameras 24/7. That's not the case. So, and that's why we don't really have technically the big brother issue. It's more of just, it's signaling to the police officers in the location, in that immediate location, where there's an issue, and that's why they respond so quickly.
Okay. That's interesting. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request to amend the vehicle and traffic regulation as follows. Section 23, stop signs at main arteries of travel, remove main artery J Street, intersecting street preserve, add main arteries J Street, intersecting street East Seaman Avenue. So moved.
Second.
Alianza por Freeport. Hagamos historia eligiendo a Carmen Piñeyro como la primera alcaldesa de la villa de Freeport. El próximo martes 16 de marzo es tu oportunidad para hacer historia. Elijamos a Carmen Piñeyro y su Alianza por Freeport. Para más información, visite nuestro website allianceforfreeport.com o al teléfono 516-690-6815. Carmen Piñeyro, la futura alcaldesa de Freeport.
Sigue en sintonía de nuestra programación.
La Tribuna Hispana USA es el periódico para los que leemos en español. En circulación desde 1988 en Long Island y New York City. Contamos con diferentes ediciones por zonas, impresas y digitales, donde usted puede leer las últimas noticias nacionales, internacionales y publicar sus anuncios para la comunidad. Atención empresarios, comerciantes y profesionales, si usted desea aumentar sus ventas, llame ahora mismo al 1-888-900-2811, extensión 4, o visítenos en el www.latribunahispana.com.
We try to make the office more of a family type.
The office here is amazing. The staff here is amazing. Everybody makes you feel welcome. There's nobody who doesn't make you feel uncomfortable.
We do no-fault accidents, we do work-related slip and falls, major meds, sports-related injuries. So we do a lot of different, we just don't treat just one type of individual. I want to treat the patient, I want the patient to get better and have a good experience in my office. It's not all about the money, it's about the patient getting better.
Escucha Tribuna Radio las 24 horas del día. Tribuna Radio desde cualquier lugar del mundo. Tribuna Radio en el www.tribunaradio.us. Tribuna Radio, la música que quieres escuchar. Tribuna Radio, la mejor programación. Tribuna Radio, programas de entrevistas. Para más información, llámanos al 1-888-900-2811, extensión 5, o escríbenos a sales@tribunaradio.us.
Tribuna TV. Te invita a, si quieres ser el productor de tu propio programa de televisión, para así formar parte de la programación de Tribuna TV, rentando tu espacio en nuestra programación, como lo han hecho nuestros productores asociados. Para más información, llámanos al 1-888-928-11, extensión 7, o visítanos en la web al www.tribunatv.us.
Sigue en sintonía de nuestra programación.
Just a couple quick questions. Going back to those cameras, but we are getting a lot of tickets, revenue from those cameras, correct? Would you?
We do get revenue.
Okay. Because I'm saying, we paid all this money for those cameras, so we've got to be getting something from it. So I'm assuming there's a good amount of revenue from tickets from those cameras. Two other issues I just want to talk about. Voter registration, not voter registration, voter relocation issues. I came back a couple of months prior to this and talked to you about this. I'm concerned about it because it's in the north. Have you given the agreement with the Board of Elections to permanently remove those ED locations out of North Freeport and put it in the north?
I'll ask my village attorney.
Excuse me, Trustee Elder, you need to cover your numbers with your names. It's important.
It is covered, sir.
It is not, sir. It is not. I'm sorry, sir.
You're not sorry.
We're all doing this. Yes, I am sorry, because
Okay, let village attorney respond to your question.
Can you repeat your question?
Yes, I want to know if you permanently removed the voter EVs in North Freeport, the two that we were talking about, to the Freeport rep for the upcoming village election.
It's moved there by request of the individuals to locations to move out of their location. That was already done previously, and it was also done by Board of Elections.
Okay. Since the Board of Elections don't run the elections in our village, they just provide equipment, hardware, what was the reason?
The individuals at Leonana and 100 North Main who run those locations did not want individuals from the public coming into their location because everybody in their building had a high risk of COVID-19.
Sorry, could I explain what those two locations are?
They're both senior facilities. So they were, the individuals who run both those locations, the Catholic Church and the Housing Authority, both objected to having it at that location because of the high risk of their residents and the fact that older people have had more tragically died from COVID-19 vaccines.
Okay, so a risk factor. So it's safer for them since we're disenfranchising them because now they're required to go a mile to vote, to go out into the public to vote. And we're saying that is safer for them?
I'm not saying that.
Well,
they object. They're the ones that objected.
Well,
And then when they objected, the Board of Elections moved it out of that location.
Well, we did object because 100 North Main Street is our property. It's run by the public Freeport Housing Authority.
Right.
So the executive director is saying that it's safer that the residents come out into the public, which the CDC is telling us to stay home, basically, or come out into the public. They may not have transportation to get there, so they may have to walk there or take public transportation. And then once they get there, they're going into a building where there will be more people around. How is that safer for them where they live in a building, they could come out of their apartment, put their mask on, come downstairs to the rec room where it's sanitized and the procedures and policies are in place to make sure everyone is social distancing and all of that, that's not safe for them. And then we're going to disenfranchise them by not taking a stand and looking out for their best interests. Because right now, the way it looks, that we don't want you to vote. We don't want you to exercise your privilege. We want to disenfranchise you because we think that we know what's better for you. And you haven't proven that fact. And then you haven't brought it to the public. We had no discussion about that. This is voting.
Can I make a...
People have walked and died for this. And we're just like willy-willy, like, okay, let's just move for location. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal.
Can I make a suggestion here? Why don't we all try to get in touch with the Board of Elections and see if they can provide other places? If not, maybe do something outside those locations so that people can get on the tents or something like that.
I agree, man, but I want my elected, I want my village government to stand up for me.
We should collectively all call.
Yes, but you need to take the lead on this. Because no one communicated this to us. We found this by like folks saying, I have to go away to the wreck.
Why don't we
folks have to walk almost a mile to the wreck to vote.
Let's collectively all call the Board of Elections and ask them if they can come up with another idea.
Mayor, I actually, for the November 3rd election, I brought that issue up.
We did discuss it.
To the Board of Elections, and they say it's kind of short, but, you know, it might be, they mentioned, say that they don't control which election stuff, but we'll reach out.
Well, it's disappointing because this is about leadership and you're letting folks down. They deserve, this is their privilege, this is their right, and nobody's standing up for them.
I think the concern is not so much of, you know, them going downstairs, but I think outsiders coming into the building. That's what their concern was. So I don't know if, I agree, you know, I can understand what you're saying with people having to go to the rec center, you know, going a mile, whatever it may be. But I think they're more, I guess the Board of Elections thought that there was more of a concern of outsiders coming into those two facilities rather than walking a mile to the thing. But listen, I'm open all the years. I think if there's a way we can do it and the Board of Elections lets us, you know, I think that might be an opportunity. You know, listen, I don't think there's a simple answer here, but let's exhaust all possibilities.
And just one other note, I did speak to a couple of seniors over at 100 and even that actually knocked on the door. They were even open the door to me by saying, what can we do? And they're like, we don't want people coming into the building, so make it another location. So
and not just something their residents, they're going into the restaurant. That revenue,
I'm just telling you what they said.
But I've also spoken to a couple of seniors too. And they're concerned that they have to go all the way, to the rec, a mile from them, to vote.
If you have any suggestions, let's continue.
What are you going to do, Mayor? As my elected official?
I don't interrupt you. I let you talk. Give me a second to speak, please. Let's collectively call the Board of Elections and come up with alternative areas that we can do it. Submit them to my office as well as calling the Board of Elections, and let's see if we can get it done.
So are you going to take the lead on this, or are you asking the community to?
As I said 3 times already, we should jointly do it together.
Right. But we need you to take the lead on this.
I will call.
Because the Board of Elections will listen to you more than they will listen to the public.
Do we?
We have a firehouse down the block they could go to. We have a school 2 blocks away, 3 blocks maybe. They can't go there. We're going to force them to go to the Freeport rec. And that's safer for them to come out in public?
Do we come up with those areas I said? And
No, Mayor, you're the leader, you're the CEO of this village.
Okay, we're not going to continue beating
you down.
We've made the conversation.
Good job.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do have one more question. When it comes to consulting contracts, how come they're not on the agenda for the public to look at? Because there is a concern with one employee who's getting a public contract to do consulting work for the assessment department, and there are issues with that employee.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're saying. Say it again.
Okay, I'm wondering why there aren't on the agenda information about consultants for receiving consulting agreements with the Village of Freeport. How come they're not on the agenda for
Ralph, you
answer that question?
I'm not sure what he's asking. Can you repeat what you're asking?
I'm sorry. Am I not speaking English or what's the problem? It's very clear. we're looking at consulting contracts. How come they're not on the agenda for the residents to look at?
I don't know what contract we're talking about, but generally personnel contracts that are done in executive session, they've been done that way.
Did you guys discuss Mark Bella's consulting contract with the assessment department?
Well, if it's done in executive session, they cannot discuss, the board cannot discuss what happened.
It's yes or no. Did you discuss it or not?
I've answered the question. We can't discuss what happened in executive session.
I'm not asking you to discuss it. I'm just saying to give me details. Did you was it discussed? Yes or no?
I've given you an answer, Mr.
Okay, time limit is up. Any other questions, sir? No, thank you very much for your time. Have a good day. Thank you. Any other questions?
There are no questions.
Thank you. Okay, village attorney, Robert Mabot, we want to move forward with our, public hearing. One second, please. So why don't we just take a motion to close the board meeting? Second. Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I ask that we make a motion to open up our public hearing. So second. Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The public hearing is to consider an amendment to Chapter 210 of the Freeport Village Code by adding Chapter 210, 9.6, entitled Moratorium.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Before I make a presentation on this proposal for law, I'd ask that items be admitted to evidence as housekeeping matters. Exhibit A, the directed setting of public hearing. Exhibit B, the notice of public hearing. Exhibit C, the affidavit of publication. Exhibit D, the affidavit of posting. Exhibit E, Superintendent of Building Joe Madigan's negative declaration recommendation of the CEQA. Exhibit F, the Planning Commission, Nassau County Planning Commission's resolution issuing a local determination. Exhibit G, the draft CEQA resolution adopting the findings of the superintendent.
This board is accepted exhibit A through G.
And Mr. Mayor, at this time, I'd ask if you can entertain a motion from one of the board members to adopt Exhibit G as the CEQA resolution.
Second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Order.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And just two more items, the marked as evidence Exhibit H, which is the resolution that was just adopted for the CEQA, and Exhibit I, that is a copy of the proposed local law.
Exhibit I and H accepted.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, members of the public, this proposed local law, 210.9.6, is requesting, I also have with me, Sergeant Lars from the building department, is a proposal to institute a 6-month moratorium on 6-month moratorium within Residence A and Residence AA in the splitting of properties. We have found in the past a few years, with speaking to different community organizations throughout the village, that a lot of these properties are being subdivided, and then when they're subdivided, the new properties don't fit within the characteristics of the community. So we want to take this 6-month period, have a moratorium on subdividing in the Residence A, AA zone, for purposes to review the local code as well as speak to any relevant public committees or organizations regarding their recommendations. So this would, if voted on tonight, would take place tonight, would be a period of 6 months to be able to review the code.
Okay. Yes, please.
Council, thank you. And for those members of the community, I have on the news, if I give an example, South Ocean Avenue, beautiful historic homes, once they knock them down, they can build 2, 3, and 4. Therefore,
give the community a chance to really feel comfortable with something to do. I think the examples you mentioned was about certain parties and all these. You so happen to work with all the old houses. So I think when we find out whatever, I think it's a good chance to kind of catch up right, let things settle. Let the community decide. Like I said, it's best within there.
And to your point, Trustee Martinez, this gives us the opportunity to give a strict review without rushing something so that they, it stops, puts a pause so that we can actually look at it in a proper way.
Council, does that, so if, and then would put a stop to any new applications that will come in? Why
They can still apply, but there's nothing can be done from there until the point.
Would that put also any application that's already in
No.
process?
No, the application process will still be in process, because it'll be an back door law.
Well, excuse me, if an application is in, then it would still fall under this, only a permanent position.
Right, I'm talking about a permanent position. The permanent position doesn't stop the permanent position. If the application's in, it's still a moratorium will stop the building department commission getting a permit. But if they already have the permit, then they permit it.
Do we have any other questions?
And the clerks also indicated we had no requests to speak.
Any public comments on this moratorium? Again, we wanted to sum it up for our residents.
Yes, just to sum it up, the residents A and double zones, which encompasses all parts of the village of Freeport, we're requesting to a 6-month moratorium on the subdivision of properties in order to look at the local village code to ensure that the subdivisions in the future will fit the capital system.
Okay, if there's no other questions, do we have a motion to accept this?
Actually, Your Honor, I'm sorry to say no, Your Honor. Mr. Mayor, before we do that, we would have to close further evidence of testimony at this time.
Okay.
I make a motion to close the meeting.
Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And at this time, if the board sees fit to make a motion to accept Exhibit I as proposal.
Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Please make sure that everyone's safe.
That's where I was. I know I'm already late, but before we close tonight, this being the last meeting of the year, I personally think the last meeting was very difficult for a lot of us. I just personally want to thank the mayor and my fellow trustees for the amount of work, dedication they show to this village year after year. A lot of people don't realize the number of hours, weekdays, weeknights that this board was for our community and for our citizens. I also want to thank the village employees for what they did, the fire department, and also the police department, for what they did in this village. But more importantly, I want to thank us, the people of this village. We've had a very difficult year. COVID has been a real painful pill for a lot of us in this village. But before, we've shown over and over again that we are a family. We stick together. We have differences, but we stick together and we work hard. So I just want to thank everybody for what they've done this year. And I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait for January 1st, 2021 to start on fresh year. So thank you, Mayor, for letting me say a few words into my fellow citizens. Thank you. It really is not a pleasure to serve the village and serve my community.
Everybody, please get home safe. And remember, if you need face masks, PPEs, please contact the mayor's office. We'll either deliver it to you, or you can come pick it up at the rec center or Village Hall. Thank you very much.
Having said that, close the meeting.
Alianza por Freeport. Hagamos historia eligiendo a Carmen Piñeyro como la primera alcaldesa de la villa de Freeport. El próximo martes 16 de marzo es tu oportunidad para hacer historia. Elijamos a Carmen Piñeyro y su Alianza por Freeport. Para más información, visite nuestro website allianceforfreeport.com o al teléfono 516-690-6815. Carmen Piñeyro, la futura alcaldesa de Freeport.